الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Before beginning, as announced previously, we have a lesson going on, so I'm going to request everyone, if you're here to give your condolences to the family, then please do so by sitting in the designated room, which is a side room over there. Talking in this room and disturbing the class will not be tolerated, and I will call you out. Secondly, we did announce that there should be no men upstairs. We can see on the cameras that there are men standing on just outside the door and on the stairways and so on. Please move immediately. Otherwise, we got you on camera as well. So, go in 5K. Was it 4K, 5K, whatever it is? 4K, acha. So again, those men who are standing there, please leave immediately. Not only these stairs, but stairs outside as well. There's stairs on the outside. They're standing right at the top, right at the entrance. Okay. Hamza, how many conditions of wudu are there? 10. Sami, conditions of salah? 9. How much obligations of wudu? Obligations of salah? 8. Pillars of salah? 14. Good. We talk that the water has to be pure and permissible. Is that one condition or is that two separate conditions? Shiraz? Pure and permissible. Permissible meaning like not stolen and so on. One condition. One condition. Kabirul, you if you close the door at the back. Okay, Awab, what's the ayah for the obligations of wudu that I told everyone to memorize on Tuesday? Surah Ma'idah, ayah number 6. Did not memorize it. Bilal? Standard. Right, Zakaria? No, I asked you. Awab? You not memorized it. Musa? Just that part? Good. Let me just turn off the mic on that side. Okay. One of the conditions was that the time had to have entered for wudu. What does that mean? Because if you got incontinence or you're somebody that's constantly in the state of breaking the wudu, you have to refresh wudu for every salah once the time enters. Let's go. What's the ayah? Hamza, what's the ayah? وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا أرجلكم الكعبين. خلاص, you don't need to. وإن كنتم جنبا فطهروا. You don't need to memorize that. Qasim, what's the ayah? You don't know. Riyadh, what's the ayah? Where's Tanzil? Oh, are you looking? Did he come with you or no? خلاص. He comes with you all the time. Why are you looking? Oh, he's not here. You don't come separately? Okay. Right. Sami, Everyone needs to memorize the ayah. It's not even the full ayah, just a part of the ayah. Right. What's the boundary of the face? No. Earlobe to forehead. Earlobe to earlobe, and then forehead to? Good. Where does your forehead start? Where the hairline went start. Good. What's the ruling on washing your hands in wudu? Aman. Sunnah? Abdul Rahman? Sunnah? Sunnah? Musa? Obligatory? Good. In the beginning it's sunnah, right in the beginning. But when it comes to washing the arms, then it's obligatory. Then it's obligatory. So he has two rulings. Okay. What do we take? Oh, we took istijmar. What's the istijmar? Yusuf, what's this istijmar? Cleaning yourself with dry objects. If a person cleans himself with dry objects without using water, is that permissible? Yes or no? Kabirul. Okay. Permissible. Are there conditions? Alright, name one condition. It has to be something which is rough and clean and not something which is smooth. Another condition. At least 3 or more times you have to wipe. Another condition. Can't be something respectable, or something najis, or bones, or dunk. Hamza, another condition. Yeah, the dirt cannot spread outside normal place. Another condition. Last. Clean as much as possible so that whatever's left can only be cleaned with water. Somebody's asked, what does it mean by something smooth? Can you explain a bit further? Basically, whatever material you use, obviously now everyone's probably thinking of tissue. Back in the day, it's any dry object. So you obviously want to use an object which will clean and get rid of the dirt. Not an object, if it was something smooth, it wouldn't clean it. It would just, spread it more. So you need something which is rough, or anything basically that cleans. Okay, what are some of the sunan al-fitrah? Awab? Sunan al-fitrah, the recommended action of purification. Trim mustache, nails, pubic hair, circumcision. Siwak. You've never been. Is that sunnah or obligatory? That's obligatory, okay. Okay, what's the meaning of the obligation al-muwalah when it comes to wudu? What does that mean? No, that's the one before it, tartib. No. You can't let the previous part get dry. Good. That's the time limit. Okay. Right. Today, inshallah, we're going to finish this section on wudu. And not only wudu, but the Sheikh's added other issues as well. Part of purification, which is also good to go through as well. Inshallah. And if you get time, you might even go through the questions as well. If you get time. Okay. Right. So next issue is now the nullifiers of wudu. Nullifiers of wudu. The Shaykh here, he mentions 6 nullifiers of wudu. The Hanabila, they mentioned 8. So there's 2 more, but the Shaykh is going to talk about them too, and he's going to explain how they're not actually nullifiers. There's also another one we're going to mention is not really a nullifier as well. So in total, there's going to be 5. How many nullifiers are there? Going to be 5 nullifiers of wudu. Okay. So what are they? Firstly, whatever exits from 2 private parts. Okay, that's quite straightforward. Anything that comes out of 2 private parts would break somebody's wudu. Number 2, the exiting of impure substances from other parts of the body. So anywhere else of the body, if anything impure comes out, whether it's blood or pus or anything impure, generally majority of ulama or many of the ulama would say that if it is a lot, it will break your wudu. If it's a lot, it will break your wudu. However, this is the one where we're going to mention that what seems to be correct, wallahu alam, that it does not break your wudu. It does not break your wudu. Reason being is two things. Firstly, there's no clear proof to say that it does break your wudu. And secondly, we have other narrations from companions and others where they would be bleeding but they would still pray. So for example, when Umar radiallahu anh was stabbed, when he was leading Fajr Salah, he would still carry on and pray. He didn't turn around and say, oh look, I'm bleeding, I need to do my wudu again. He carried on and tried to pray as much as he could. Obviously, like I said, there's khilaf and I don't want to go into that. Nor do I want you guys to go around and act like, oh, this is a correct opinion. Because there's a lot more research that needs to be done. So even though some of these points I mentioned, people have answers for it. So somebody may turn around and say, yeah, but it was a necessity. Umar is stabbed, like he just doesn't have time. He's not able to go walk and do wudu and so on, right? So there's a lot of back and forth and so on. But now we're just going to stick to, like I said in this book, not really going to go into khilaf. The third is losing consciousness due to sleep or other than it. Other than it meaning like becoming unconscious, fainting, anything like that. So if you lose consciousness, then that breaks your wudu. Now, if you fall asleep, then obviously that breaks your wudu as well. If you sleep at night, and you wake up, there's a separate hadith regarding this, where if you wake up at night, before doing wudu, you have to wash your hands 3 times. The Prophet ﷺ said that if you wake up from your sleep, i.e. sleep at night, then you have to wash your hands 3 times. فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَدْرِي أَيْنَ بَاتَتْ يَدُهُ, because a person does not know where his hands have spent the night. So you need to, those washing of your hands 3 times is separate to wudu. And some other ulama, the Hanabila and so on, they say that, let's say you've got, especially back in the day, they would have a utensil of water. If you do not wash your hands 3 times and you put your hand in that water becomes najis. So some ulama have gone to the accent as well, showing the importance of washing your hands thrice before doing the wudu. That should be the first thing that you do. I don't think so. Okay, what about sleep during the day? Does that hadith apply to sleeping during the day? It does not apply to sleep during the day. So even if you have a long sleep during the day, it does not apply to that, because the hadith says, فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَدْرِي أَيْنَ بَاتَتْ يَدُهُ. Person does not know where his hand batat is spending time at night. So he does not know where his hand spent the night. So the hadith mentions night, because that verb includes night. Now, Allahu A'lam. I'm getting to that. Okay, I'll answer that next question, next lesson, inshallah. Remind me. Okay, number 4, touching the private parts, front or back, without a barrier. Without a barrier. So basically touching, skin to skin, basically. Your hands touching the private parts, whether front or back, that break your wudu. If you're touching with the barrier, you got clothes on, then that does not break your wudu. Again, there's a lot of khilaf in this because there's some ahadith where the Prophet mentions it breaks your wudu, and other ahadith he says, إِنَّمَا هُوَ بَضْعَةٌ مِنْكَ, it's just a part of you, it's like it's part of your body. So that's some ulama differ, but this is a good way of combining between the ahadith, that it'll only break your wudu if you touch it without any barrier. Number 5 is eating camel's meat. There's only camel's meat. A lot of people don't know this, especially in the UK. Camel's meat, the hadith of Prophet, the companion came to Prophet and asked him, should I do wudu from the meat of sheep? And the Prophet said, inch it if you want to. But then the Prophet was asked, okay, what about the meat of a camel? And the Prophet said, na'am, yes. Okay, so eating camel's meat breaks your wudu, but any other meat does not break your wudu. Yeah, you touched it. Number 6, leaving Islam. So somebody leaves Islam and then wants to come back to Islam, he has to do. It's broken his wudu. He's no longer in a state of wudu. Now there's 2 others. The first is washing a dead body. If you wash a dead body, does it break your wudu? And the Shaykh says what is correct is that it does not break your wudu because there's no dalil. But if your hand touches the private parts of the dead body, then that would break the wudu. And then also touching a woman. Does touching a woman break your wudu? Some ulama, like Imam Shafi'i, is very strict. So if you just touch a woman, that's it breaks your wudu. And the ulama have said if you touch a woman with desire, then it breaks your wudu. But what seems to be correct is that it doesn't break your wudu. As long as nothing comes out of the private parts, and it does not break your wudu. Because the Prophet sometimes would kiss his wives before leaving for salah, and then he would go for salah without doing wudu again. There is in the ayah, so the ayah, Surah Ma'idah, ayah number 6, in that Allah does mention, أَوْ لَامَسْتُمُ النِّسَاء, or if you touch women, you need to do ghusl. Okay, so that's where the khilaf comes from. The word lamasa means to touch. However, as many of the Salaf, like Ibn Abbas, he says touching here refers to having relations. Okay, it refers to having relations. It does not refer to actual touching. Come on, go get me a glass of water. So in total, how many things break your wudu? 5 things. Now, when it comes to all these things that breaks your wudu, there's a lot of khilaf in all of them. Okay, which apart from like the first one, each of them we can go into a lot of detail, which we will do inshallah once we study the bigger fiqh books inshallah. As for now, just learn it as it is. Separate to the wudu. Not your nose, just your hands. After. We had a couple of questions regarding that. I'll get back to you guys on that inshallah regarding the washing the hands at night and stuff. Remind me next lesson, beginning of next lesson I'll mention it. I said next lesson, innit? Yeah. Okay. Right. Summary of ablution with pictures, right. So we've studied the rulings. Just going to now, bi'idhnillah, go through, right, what does a person do? So remember I said to you the Prophet, how much water did he use? A mud. How much is a mud? Yeah. Okay. Handful. So I've got a bit of water here. Let's see how much you can use. Go grab a towel if there's a towel in the kitchen. If not, grab some tissue. No. Right. So you make your intention. You say Bismillah. Hurry up. You know, grab a bowl as well because I just realized I got to rinse the water out. I'm just going to be stuck here otherwise. It's actually a funny story. I had a khutbah last year in Masjid Imam Nawawi in London. So I took the train and I got to Euston. Was it Euston or King's Cross? One of the two. And then a lot of traffic. So I got a bit late to the khutbah. Now that masjid, if you guys have seen it, is a very small masjid. So much was packed, people outside and in the staircase and everything. And I messaged the brother from before saying, look, I've been traveling for 3 hours, I need to do a fresh wudu when I get there. So he said, okay. Once I got there to the masjid, he came outside. Nice sunny day. He goes, Ustad, I'm sorry, yeah, but because the wudu area is on the other side, so I have to walk through the whole masjid and people are on the stairs and everything. He goes, Ustad, I'm sorry, but you're already a bit late. If you go to the wudu area and come back, this, you know, the actual time of the khutbah might finish. Yeah? Okay, right. So what he did, he brought a bottle of water and he goes, Ustad, can you just do wudu outside? And legit, that I think is the only time I've used the least amount of water. I legit only use about this water because I was so conscious. I was like, if I waste the water now and I don't have enough, what we're going to do is going to be stuck. So I think I just use that much water. So it's very possible, right? A very important condition with wudu is that the water has to be flowing. So it can't be masah, it can't be wipe. You know how you like wipe over your head? You got a bit of water in your hands and you just wipe. It can't be like that. It has to be flowing water. You can then you wipe and stuff, and that's sunnah. That's called dalk. It's called dalk. Dalk is where the water's already there, and then you just make sure it reaches over. That's fine. But I'm talking about, for example, if I just got a bit of water on my hands, and then I can't start wiping over everything. The water has to be flowing. Does that make sense? Okay. So you say Bismillah, then you wash the hands thrice with water. It's fine. It's only water. Alright? So just got a bit of water. That's my hand washed. That's it. Just needed that much of water. That's my hand washed. Then you wash you rinse your mouth and nose. Okay? And remember we said the sunnah is to do it with one hand. So you get water. Spit the water up, and with your left hand you blow out whatever's in your nose. Go give me tissue. Yeah? There's no tissue there? Okay, it's fine. Then you wash your face. So again, it's got a bit of water. Oh, see, so when I was there in the Masjid Nabawi, I just got somebody to pour the water for me, and you can get that, yeah? As you can see, the water it's gone over my face right now, but there are a few parts left, so let's get a bit more. That's fine. Yeah? That's my face done. Okay, I'm just showing you like the minimum amount. Just to show you that if there's a need, you don't need to use too much water. Obviously, if you can do everything 3 times, that's better. I also don't want to drop anything on the masjid. Right. Then we got your arms. So remember, do we wash our hands again? Yeah, you wash your hands again. This is why it's obligatory to wash your hands. Okay? So you get a bit of water. And then خلاص. If you feel like it's not enough water, you can do it again. Remember, you said 3 times you can do it. That's one. That's one now. Done. Yeah? And خلاص, you do the same with your left as well. Then you wipe. Wiping is very easy. It's got a bit of water. And you just wet your hands. And then you wipe. And then, I'm not standing up, but you do your feet. Okay? How much water have I used? Can you see? Hardly anything. Obviously, at the feet, if I did some of the parts 3 times. Yeah? So that shows what you can do wudu in a quarter or a third of a cup. Okay? So you don't need to waste water when doing wudu. So leaving the tap on, even it comes in a hadith person, when the person, he is dispraising the one who wastes water, he said, even if you're standing at a flowing river, don't think, oh, I'm paying for the water anyway or whatever. You shouldn't be wasting water. Right. So yeah, fill the right hand with water and rinse the mouth. And put water into the nose. Use the thumb and index finger of left arm to remove the water from the nose. Do this 3 times. Wash the face 3 times from the usual hairline to the chin and from ear to ear. Wash the hands, including the arms, elbows 3 times, beginning from the right and then going to the left. Wipe the head, beginning with both hands from the hairline to the back of the head, and then return back to the front. Once again, wipe the ears by putting the index finger inside of the ears. So when you wipe your ears, you put this finger inside the ears and you just go like that from behind. Okay? You don't need to wipe your neck. A lot of people wipe their necks. That's innovation. That's not something which is narrated. And then wash the feet, including the ankles, 3 times. And then after that, here are pictures, as you can see. After that, you say the dua. Again, they've translated dua in English, but in Arabic, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. And then also in Imam Tirmidhi narrated the hadith that the Prophet would say, Allahumma ja'alni min at-tawwabin wa ja'alni min al-mutatahhirin. Ruling of washing more than what we are ordered, i.e. what's been legislated. So it is not allowed to increase by washing more in ablution, such as washing some parts more than 3 times, or washing the arm almost until the shoulder, or feet almost to the knee, or wiping the neck. All of that is prohibited. In fact, when the Prophet said one hadith, he did wudu, and then he said at the end, هكذا الوضوء, this is wudu. فمن زاد على هذا, so whoever does more than this, فقد أساء, he's done something evil, وتعدى, and he's transgressed the boundaries, وظلم, and he's oppressed. Okay, so a person should not waste water. No, so how many times did I put water on me? That's one. That, what I was doing there, that's called dalk. That's sunnah. That's just making sure the water is reaching everywhere. Yeah, 3 times water. Yeah, 3 times. Not moving your hand like once. Right, we finished with. That's part. Yeah, that's part of the head sunnah after you done your head. Right, we finished wudu. Now we're doing tayammum. Right. Wallahu alam. But you're gonna get more water if you do both hands. Right. Tayammum is very easy. Tayammum is a substitution for wudu. Substitution for water. Okay, or for wudu. When do you do tayammum? In scenarios. Either you don't have water, or you're not able to use water. I mean, water may be available, but you can't use it. Maybe because you got an injury, maybe because you've by you using the water, it's going to cause you to become ill. Maybe it's like really freezing outside, and if you put water, you go outside, you're gonna get ill. Okay, anything like that, then you can do tayammum. How do you do tayammum? Very, very simple. Make your intention, say Bismillah, get your hands, hit the floor, the earth, so soil or anything like that outside, hit it once, that's it. Hit it once, wipe over your face, and wipe over the parts of your hands, and that's it. Okay, look, let's read it. It's a substitution for ablution with water if one is excused from water to wash the body parts either due to the non-existence of water or fearing harm if water is used. Sand is used instead of water. And the Arabic word is turab, earth, so soil, and anything like that. How do you do it? You make your intention, say Bismillah, touches the clean earth with once with both hands, wipe the face and the back of each hand. That's it, just like the pictures of the Shaykh. Hands on the floor. If you want to, if you feel like there's a lot of dirt and stuff and you want to wipe the excess off, you can. Okay? Then wipe the face and then top of the hands. That's it. It is not legislated to spread the fingers when touching the sand, nor wiping between the fingers and wiping the hands. So doing that, you don't need to do. For tayammum, you don't need to do that. Okay, that's tayammum finished. Right. Ghusl. Now ghusl, the Shaykh's going to mention to you 2 ways of doing ghusl. An obligatory way, and then the recommended way. Obligatory way is like the bare minimum. Okay? Just like in wudu. In wudu, that what I taught you right now is like the bare minimum. Let's say you got less water, and you need to do wudu, you need to, you're traveling, you just got a bottle of water with you or something. So I showed how you could use less. Just wash every body part once. In fact, if you fear that you may not have enough water, then just remember the 6 obligations. As long as you do the 6 obligations, you're fine. So if you don't want to wash your hands in the beginning, skip it. If you fear, that's the benefit of knowing these rulings, that if you're in a situation where you fear you have less water, stick to that which is obligatory and that's it. And the simple thing for the obligatory ghusl is that you make your intention, say Bismillah, and you just need to make sure that the water reaches every part of your skin. That's it. As long as the water reaches every part of your skin, including under the hairs. Okay, so it's not like masah, not like this top, that you got to make sure the water goes in. As long as it touches every part of the body, you're fine, no matter which order that you do it in. Okay, but there's a sunnah way of doing it as well. Okay, let's have a quick read. So the description of the obligatory shower. One intends to take a shower in order to be pure from major impurity. You say Bismillah, you pour water over the entire body, under the hair, whether they are thin or thick, and rinses the mouth and cleans the nose. Everywhere, including inside the mouth and nose. Plus. That's the obligatory ghusl done. What's the recommended way of doing it? The first thing that you do is wash your private parts. Okay? Because that's one of the reasons that you have to do ghusl. So you just clean those parts first before cleaning everything else. Okay? Then after that, you obviously, because you've just used your hand to clean your private parts, you wash your hands then. Then you do rest of wudu. Now, as for your feet, if you're in a place where the water's getting jammed or something, then you leave your feet till the end. If not, you can do your feet then as well. Alright? So you do the whole of wudu. Then, after you do wudu, you put water over your head 3 times, making sure that the water reaches the roots of your hair, of the hair, basically reaches your head. Then you wash the right side of your body. So do your arm, do your right side of the whole body. Once you do the right side, then you do the left side of your whole body. Okay, and that's it. And if you've delayed your washing the feet, then you wash your feet right at the end. Okay? So make your intention, say Bismillah, wash your private parts, wash your hands and do wudu. And if you want to delay washing the feet, you can. Then wash the right, over your head 3 times, right side, left side, wash your feet and you're finished. Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading these questions right now. So cupping it in your hands after flowing it down from a cup is fine. Yeah. That's how they would do it back in the day. They would have they don't have taps. So wudu would be done. They would have from utensil and they would pour from it. Okay. What makes a shower obligatory? We kind of talked about this when we talked about major impurity. When you have major impurity, the Sheikh's put it as 4 things. He's kind of combined a few of them. He has major impurity, which is sperm coming out of the male and female organ meeting. Number 2, menstruation or postnatal bleeding coming out. So once that finishes completely, also death of other than a martyr. If somebody is martyred, you don't wash their body. And number 4, a non-Muslim accepting Islam. Okay. Yeah, so we talked about this, the same with doing wudu. Some ulama say that you do it before, and some say that if it's like a separate place that you're not, some bathrooms, literally where you relieve yourself, where the shower is in the same exact place. And some bathrooms, it might be one room, but the toilet's on one side and the bath is on the other side. So some ulama say that the bath is separate to the exact toilet part, so you can say Bismillah over there. Okay. Somebody's Toyota PK69
Yes.
EZR. Toyota PK69 EZR, that's your car, please move it. So anyone upstairs or downstairs, if you have a Toyota with number plate PK69 EZR, please remove your car. You're blocking people in. Okay. A few extra points that I do want to add here. So make sure you write these down. These things are not in the book, but we'll quickly just add it. So make sure you write these things down, okay? Firstly, what are the different things that come out of a human and what's the ruling on that? So, and we're going to refer to the front private parts. What comes out and what is the ruling of that? The first thing that comes out is urine. And urine is najis, so it's impure. So if urine goes on your body or clothes, you have to wash it. And secondly, it causes a person to do wudu. You have to have wudu. So 2 things. It's najis and you have to do wudu. In Arabic is called bowl. Urine in Arabic is called bowl. The second is mani. Mani is sperm or semen. Mani in of itself is pure, as we talked about, we mentioned that previously, and it requires a person to have ghusl. It requires a person to do ghusl. Number 3 is madhi, something called madhi. Madhi is pre-seminal fluid. This is something, it's different to mani, it's different to sperm, and it has a few differences. One difference, they both come out at the time of desire, but mani normally comes out before, maybe in foreplay or something like that. And the way it comes out is different. Mani comes out dufqan, it like just squirts out, whereas madhi comes out slowly. Secondly, the color is different as well. Mani is like a cloudy color, whereas madhi is a see-through color. Now, what's the ruling on this? The ruling, if this comes out, it is najis, so you have to wash it. It is najis, and it requires wudu, not ghusl. It requires wudu. The fourth is something called wadi. Wadi. Waw dal ya. I don't know what it is in English. But wadi is basically a substance that would come out not at the time of desire. It could come out for different reasons. It can come out if the temperature changes, if somebody picks up something heavy. Sometimes people are urinating, it come out. And it's like a light color, so not see-through. It's like a light color. It may come up for some people. That is basically similar to the previous one where it is najis and it requires wudu. Obviously for the women, they have the hayd and nifas, the blood that comes out at time of menstruation and postnatal bleeding. And we know that's najis and that requires them to do ghusl after it finishes. But the women also have something else, which is a natural discharge that sometimes comes out as well. And that natural discharge is pure and it doesn't require anything. And there's actually a woman, I forgot her name, but she wrote like a essay or a research paper on it. And Ibn Uthaymin rahimahullah, when he read it, he then took that opinion that this is something which is it's not najis and it doesn't require a person to do wudu or ghusl. It is something which naturally comes out for a woman, and the women know what I'm talking about. Okay, these are things which come out of a person, the rulings, and when to do wudu, when to do ghusl, and so on. Okay, another issue I want you guys to write down is what is not permissible for a person to do when in a state of hadith. What's hadith? Hadith akbar or asghar, any of the two. I'm going to explain for each one, inshallah. Hadith, spiritual impurity. You guys need to know the Arabic words. Hadatha. So remember, we said hadith is two types: major impurity and minor impurity. Major is when you need to do ghusl, and minor is when you need to do wudu. Right. If a person is in a state of hadath asghar, minor spiritual impurity, what is he not allowed to do? Now, should we mention what he's allowed to do, or should we mention what he's not allowed to do? Why? Yeah, because everything else is permissible. So these are like 1, 2 exceptions. Anything other than this is permissible. Person is in a state of hadith asghar, meaning he needs to do wudu, then it's not allowed for him to pray salah. That's by ijma'. He has to do wudu for the salah to be correct. There's two other things where there is khilaf. Okay? Which is doing tawaf and touching the mushaf. Mushaf, i.e. the physical copy of the Quran. Not reciting the Quran. You can recite the Quran, that's not a problem. But I'm talking about touching the physical copy of the mushaf. Both of them are khilaf. Okay? And for now, majority of the ulama for both of them say that you need to do wudu. So that's safer. Wallahu alam. Sorry? Oh, on your phone, yeah. Because at that time it's taking the ruling. English translation is not Quran. Transliteration is not Quran. Okay, what about a book that has Arabic and English? It depends on what's more. More English, then it's not Quran. Yeah. That book is no, because then it's a tafsir book. You pick up tafsir ibn Kathir, even the Arabic version, you need wudu. No. Right, okay. What is not permissible for the one who has hadath akbar? Firstly, whatever is not allowed for hadath asghar is not allowed for hadath akbar. Meaning you're not allowed to pray salah. So obviously if you can't do that with wudu, you can't do that if you're in a state of needing ghusl. Number 2 is reciting the Quran. Here you can't even recite the Quran. Okay? Unless you're saying it as a dhikr or dua. Because then you're not reciting Quran, you're making dua. So we just make dua and say رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً. That's fine. The third is staying in the masjid unless you do wudu. So if you want to go in the masjid and you're in a state of janabah, if you do wudu, then you can stay in the masjid. That's only for staying in the masjid, like you can't pray or recite Quran or anything like that. Right, so we talk about hadith akbar and we talk about hadith asghar. The third is we're going to talk about women who are in hayd and nifas. So the menstrual cycle, the postnatal bleeding. Firstly, what we mentioned before, the same. So when we mentioned for hadith akbar, the same. They can't do those things. They can't. No. But we're going to talk about one or two in a bit more detail. So they can't do the same. So I can't pray salat, tawaf, touching the mushaf, and so on. However, there's one that we're going to permit, which is reciting the Quran. That is permissible. If a woman is on a menstrual cycle or in postnatal bleeding, it is permissible for her to recite the Quran. Now many ulama would say that it's not permissible. Firstly, because of a hadith of the Prophet said, لا تقرأ الحائض والجنوب شيئا من القرآن. The woman in the menstrual cycle or a person in a state of janabah, which means he has to have a ghusl, does not recite anything from the Quran. That's the first dalil that they give, but the answer to that is the hadith is da'if. By agreement of all of the muhaddithin, it is da'if. Secondly, they say that it's similar to janabah. It's similar to janabah. Janabah is when you need to have a ghusl. So likewise, hayd and nifas, once it's finished, you need to have a ghusl. So they do something called qiyas. However, the reality is this qiyas is incorrect. In Arabic, it's called qiyas ma'al fariq. Qiyas ma'al fariq means that you don't qiyas upon something where there's differences. It's not a correct qiyas. And the reason being is because there's many differences between the two. Firstly, state of janabah, you enter firstly through choice, right? For some of the reasons anyway, like having relations and so on. Whereas the hayd is not choice, it's something which naturally happens. Number two, not only is it a choice for janabah, but it's due to desire. Whereas hayd is not due to desire. Thirdly, leaving that state of janabah is also through choice. You want to leave, just go have a ghusl and you've left state of janabah. Yeah, you can do that now, you can do it later, whatever. But a woman can't do that. She has to wait until the period time finishes. Also, from the differences, is that the time limit is different. Janabah can literally be 5 minutes. First have relations and goes to have a shower straight away, he's out of state of janabah. But for a woman, it's generally a week. And also, if you were to say that she's not allowed to recite the Quran, then it could harm her. When she's trying to do hifz or something, and then you tell her for a whole week you can't recite the Quran. So there's no clear dalil. And in the Prophet, many women had hayd and nifas, but even with that, there's no clear dalil which has come preventing them from reciting the Quran. And this is the opinion of Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, Shawkani, Ibn Baz, and Ibn Uthaymin rahimahullah. But Ibn Uthaymin has a nice, bit more balanced approach, which is a good opinion to mention. He says a woman should only recite the Quran if there is a need. Because the majority of ulama do say it's not allowed. But if there's a need, and the need is broad, like need could mean she's memorizing the Quran, she's got hifz class. It could mean that she's in a state of her life where her iman is really low and she really needs to recite something. Then she should recite. But as for a person never reciting, and then just on this random day she wants to recite just for the sake of it, we say no, look, there's khilaf, and majority of the ulama say that you shouldn't, and it's best just to stick to that, and you can recite on the days that you don't.
It's only considered recitation
Yeah, if you're just reading in your head, that's not recitation. Even in salah. So you're reading in your head. That's not reading. You can do that. That's thinking. That's not reading. Touching the mushaf is an issue. So touching the mushaf is not allowed. As for with a barrier, then yeah, inshallah, if she uses like a pencil or something else or gloves or something. She can recite, yeah. Yeah, she can look. Looking's fine. Huh. Okay, right. Let's move on. Okay, we come to wiping over the socks. Right, wiping over the socks is permissible, but with a number of conditions. Okay, the main condition that a lot of people might miss over is this one over here that I've highlighted. Is that if you want to wipe over your socks in wudu, then you're allowed to, if you have worn those socks whilst you're already in a state of wudu. So you have to have worn those socks already in a state of wudu. Meaning, let's say I wake up for Fajr at 4 o'clock. Okay? And I do wudu at 5:04, and I go pray at 4:15. So 4 o'clock I wake up, 4:05 I do wudu, 4:15 I pray. Right. Let's say I wake up and I say, look, it's cold, I want to put my socks on. Then I go to the bathroom, then I do wudu. Can I wipe over my socks then? No, because do I have wudu when I wear my socks? I don't. What if I do wudu and I pray salah or wherever and I break my wudu later and then I say, okay, I'm going to do wudu now. Can I wipe over my socks now? In this scenario? Why asking me a question? I've told you information. Don't ask me the question now. I said I woke up, I did wudu, right? And I wore my socks and prayed salah. And then, yeah. Then you can. Good. Okay. Right. The shoes or socks must be clean. Can't be najis basically. Not clean. Wiping is only done when making ablution, not when taking a shower. So we're talking about wudu, we're not talking about ghusl. It covers most of the feet. What I mean, look, with the socks, they have to cover your feet, your toes, and your ankles. Your feet, your toes, and your ankles. Where's your ankle? So is it covered? It's halfway up your shin, right? Right. What if you have holes? Holes is allowed. Okay. Let's say many of the Sahaba were poor and they had holes and things like that. And if you say you can't have a hole or anything like that, then that's making it difficult. It defeats the purpose. What if you can see through? That's fine as well. Okay, so most socks that people wear, everyone's wearing socks, it's all fine. Okay? No. When you wipe your socks, how long are you permitted to wipe your socks for? If you're a resident, meaning you're not traveling, you have 24 hours. If you're a traveler, you have 3 days and 3 nights, i.e. 72 hours. Meaning, let's say, when does the time start? The time starts from the first wiping after one has nullified the ablution. I.e., the time starts the first time you wipe over your socks. For example, yeah? Same example. I woke up at 4 o'clock, did wudu at 4:05. After doing wudu, I wore my socks and I prayed salah at 4:15. Where did my time start? I've not wiped over my sock yet. I did wudu, I've worn my socks, then I prayed salah. Okay, then I broke my wudu at 5 o'clock. Did it start at 5 o'clock? No. Okay, then at dhuhr time, I do wudu, and then I wipe over my socks then. It starts at dhuhr time. So when does it finish the next day? So if I sleep with my socks on, and I wake up Fajr, can I wipe over my socks? Yeah? Over the next day, dhuhr. No, if it's after 24 hours, then no. Okay. What happens if the timing finishes? So we said dhuhr, right? Let's say dhuhr is at 2 o'clock. Let's say I did it at 1:45. So 24 hours finishes the next day at 1:45, 1:45. So I'm 1:50, I've entered the masjid now. I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's been 24 hours. Time limits are finished. Does the wudu break? No. If time finishes, it doesn't break. But let's say I don't have wudu. So at 1:50 I broke my wudu. No, the next day. Next day at 1:50. So I have to do wudu again. Can I wipe over it? I can't. I have to do proper wudu again. What if I'm traveling? Traveling you can. Okay. What if, let's say, so let's say same example. I wiped at Dhuhr time. Isha time comes and it's really hot. So, summer night it's really hot. So I decided to take my socks off. Does taking your socks off break your wudu? Right. Taking socks off does not break your wudu. If you wiped over, taking them off, but you can't put them back on and be like, okay, I'll wipe over now. That once you've taken it off, khalas, you've taken it off. Doesn't break your wudu, but that's separate now. You can't put them back on and be like, I'm gonna wipe over it, unless you do fresh wudu. Okay? That makes sense? Two separate things. It doesn't break your wudu, but you can't then put them back on, because when you put them back on, you're not in a state of wudu, because you've not washed that foot yet. No, you understand? You've been wiping. So the same scenario. At Isha time, half an hour before Isha, I took off my socks. Do I need to do wudu? I've already got wudu from Maghrib. I don't. I took off my socks. I took off my socks. Then 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I'm leaving the house. I need to wear my shoes, so I'll put my socks back on. And then I broke my wudu after my socks are back on. Can I wipe over them again? No, now you can't wipe over them. That makes sense? Does that make sense? Is he teaching you now? Am I teaching you? Otherwise, Imam Abu Hanifa said you take your khalas, it's done. Right? No, I'm pretty sure he said the same thing anyway. Anyways. Huh. Yeah, you have to wash your feet again, then you can put it back on. Okay, although you can't just take them off. As extra benefit, I don't think it's in the book. What if you're wearing 2 pairs of socks? Some people double up. You got 2 on? Right, that's fine. You got 2, 3 on. Whatever is the top layer, that takes the ruling of the sock. So if you've taken that off, that's like taking up the sock off. Because you know what the issue is? The issue is now, once you've taken your sock off, that foot that you have not wiped over it, nor have you even washed it. Does that make sense? So it's an issue. No. It's come off. As soon as the part of which is obligatory to wash, so from the ankles, it comes off, then it's considered off. Okay, what if you're wearing shoes? Same thing. If the shoes are covering the whole area, like so some people have big boots and so on, it's covering your ankles, you can wipe over it. You can wipe over it. But somebody asked me this. He said, "Oh, okay, so I can do masa over." He got proper excited. He goes, "Oh, so I can do masa over there and come into the masjid." I go, "Yeah, but you're just going to take them off as soon as you enter." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I'll just do it with my sock then." Yeah. Okay. Thickness of the sock doesn't matter. Okay, shoes are the answer to your question. Right. Generally, the rule is you wipe over your socks when you're wearing socks. You shouldn't wear socks just to wipe over it. Yeah, if you're wearing socks, then you do it. Yeah, if you're wearing socks, you do it. Yeah. Religious disease, yeah. If you got it on, then you wipe over it. But let's say you've not got them on, you don't say, "Oh, I'm doing wudu, but let me put them on so that I don't have to wash them." Unless there's a need, unless you're like, "Okay, I'm traveling, it might be difficult later or whatever." then that's different. But if you're wearing them, it's better to, you can wipe over them, yeah? Okay, how do you wipe them? How do you wipe them? Very simple. Just get your hands wet, and this is my foot. Literally that's it. Just wipe over the top part there. So you bend, you bend down your 2 feet, just wipe over it, and that's it. Just the top part, as Ali Radhan said. You can't do right and then left. You should do it simultaneously, but you can't do it right and then left. It should be covering the whole part. It should be covering the whole part. Yeah. Well, no, we talked about the ruling of taking the sock off. It doesn't break you wudu straight away. But, yeah. Right, topics related to wiping. If the timing for wiping ends or the sock is removed, the ablution remains and is not nullified. It is permissible to wipe over the socks that some of the skin can be seen through due to holes or being thin. Okay, I mentioned that. Right, and then Shaykh finishes off with some mannerisms of using the bathroom. Just to complete what we were talking about. So you enter the bathroom with your left foot. Anything basically bad you do with left, cleaning and so on, and anything good you do with your right. So entering the bathroom, left. Leaving the masjid with your left. Entering the masjid or leaving the bathroom with your right. Yeah. You say the dua before entering. Bismillah, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubuthi wal khaba'ith. And when you leave the bathroom, you leave with your right foot and you say Ghufranak. It is obligatory to use the toilet in a closed place or away from everyone if outside. So if you go outside, especially like back in the day or deserts and so on, you should be in a place where you're covered or in a place where you're far away so that no one can basically see you. It is not allowed to relieve oneself on the street where people sit under trees bearing fruit or in a place that harms the people or in non-flowing water. Still water. Flowing water, and I'm saying it's fine as in it won't have an effect on the purity of the water. If you've got a massive river and it's flowing, because it'll just go. So it's fine in that sense. Whether you should be doing it or not is a different question, right? And that's what we're talking about now is technical ruling. So even when I said if you got a hole in your sock, it's fine as long as you can still consider it a sock. That doesn't mean you walk around with holes in your sock now. Yeah. So be careful between the two things. To turn oneself or back towards the qibla whilst you're leaving. So whilst you're leaving yourself, you shouldn't be facing either frontally or backly towards the qibla. Touching the organ with the right hand. So if you're touching your private parts or cleaning them, you should be only doing with your left. You should not be touching it with your right. To mention Allah. So in the actual place of where you're relieving yourself, or whilst you're relieving yourself, you should not be mentioning Allah or anything like that. So you told us that you try to move a bit. You can move a bit to the side, innit? You're not stuck and you can't move. You can just move a bit that way. That's fine. No, sure. Once they relieve themselves, they should clean themselves with dry or with water or dry objects, istinja and istijmar. And then the conditions of istijmar we talked about previously. Is it permissible for a man to stand up and urinate? It's permissible as long as ulama normally mention two conditions. Firstly, you're fully covered, as in no one can see you, and secondly, you're 100% sure that no spits of urine come back onto you. Okay, so if you know it's going to splash back onto you, it's going to splash back, then obviously that's not allowed. And the reason it's permissible is because there's a hadith of Prophet he wants urine standing up. So it is permissible. Right, let's quickly do these questions. Right, we've got 10 minutes. How many conditions of wudu are there? 10. The obligations of wudu are the 4 limbs, that which has preceded along with the order and continuity. Second one, that which has preceded, i.e. the 4 limbs, plus making sure it's in order and it's continuous. How many nullifiers does ablution have? And we mentioned 5, Ibn Baz mentioned 6. Okay. Choose the nullifier of ablution from the following. Camel meat, yes or no? Yes. Gazelle meat? No. Stomach noise? No. Gas? Yes. Sleeping? Yes. Oh, how much you asked me the question? I was meant to mention it and I forgot. Right, light sleeping. Does that break your wudu? As long as you're not leaning or lying down, it doesn't break your wudu. So if you're sat in the masjid and listening to a khutbah, and you're, inshallah it's not my khutbahs are good inshallah. No, but if you doze off a little bit, like that, as long as, it happens in class, right? In school, sometimes you just knock off. You can still hear everything going on and stuff. That's fine, that does not break your wudu. The hadith by some of the Sahaba, they would wait for Isha, and كان يخطفقوا رؤوسهم, their heads would like basically nod off. But when the Isha came, they would stand up and pray. So that light sleep is fine. If you're leaning, then the ulama say no, because if you're leaning, then that causes a person to enter into deep sleep, even if it's for a second. Once you hit deep sleep, that's it. Whether it's a second, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, it breaks your wudu. Right, describe the dry ablution. We talked about it. You make your intentions, say Bismillah, hit the floor once, wipe your face, and then your back of your hands. Describe the Islamic shower. We talked about it, the obligatory way and the recommended way. Right, what's the ruling on these things? Saying the intention out loud. So for wudu. Bid'ah, innovation, not allowed. Has intended to make ablution for one prayer, then he or she prays more than one. So you make wudu and your intention is right, I'm making wudu for dhuhr. But then you also pray the nafil before dhuhr and after. That's permissible. That's one. Generally, best intention for a person to have, because there's a lot of khilaf regarding what intention, is it specific to what the intention, because the Prophet said, innamal amal biniyat, or is it general? You just make the intention that you're removing hadith asghar from you. If you do that, khalas. There's no issue, there's no khilaf. Making ablution to read the Quran, then you prayed, again, with the explanation I just give you. Discontinue the intention while making ablution, not accepted. Discontinue the intention after making ablution. You done wudu, and you're like, I don't need wudu. No, you've done it, khalas, it doesn't break your wudu. So you've done your wudu, and you may think to yourself, like you did wudu with pray nafil, and then you saw your friends, and your friends were like, let's go out to eat. So you're like, alright, I don't need to pray, I don't need this wudu, and you just went instead. Okay? So that is fine, that does not break your wudu. Make a ablution on the calf, there is dough. So on your calf, on your shin, there's some dough. On your calf. Huh? No, it doesn't break your wudu. After wudu? Yeah, it doesn't break your wudu. Right, having dough, so dough would block the water from reaching. There's a calf, you don't have to wash it in there. Okay. Making ablution whilst eating camel meat. Huh? Home and then wash it on the side. Yeah, it's not accepted. Making ablution with stolen water. Not accepted. Making ablution before cleaning private parts. Not accepted if you need to clean your private parts. If you need to do istinja. If you don't need to do istinja, for example, you release gas, you don't need to do istinja, you can just do wudu. Taking new water for the ears. So you wash your head and you wash your ears, you take new water for that. You don't do that. It's accepted, like it still counts, but it's not something which is legislated, it's not sunnah or anything. Where are we? Wiping the head 3 times. Again, not legislated. No, head is once. Washing every part once during ablution. Permissible. Washing the parts 3 times during ablution. Sunnah. Washing the hands during ablution. In the beginning, sunnah. During the wudu, at the times of arms, obligatory. Running wet fingers through the beard. Takhleel, al-lihya. Sunnah for the one who has a thick beard. If you have a thin beard, then you have to make sure the water reaches the skin. Rubbing the body parts during ablution. That's called dalk, as I mentioned before. Sunnah. So basically making sure that the water is reaching everywhere. Because maybe a person, sometimes the hair stops the water or whatever. So that's why it's always good to do that. Wiping that which is obligatory to wash. So if it's obligatory to wash your face, instead of washing your face, you just got a bit of water and you just wiped it instead. Not accepted. Not accepted. That's why there's the issue that can you do wudu with snow? Can you do wudu with snow? Like if you hold snow, sometimes some water might come out. It's not flowing. If there's a lot and it's flowing, then that's flowing water. But it has to be flowing. Washing the hair. Washing meaning not wiping, washing. It's not. In wudu, it's not. In wudu it's not legislated. In ghusl, yeah. Okay, entering the hands in the water container. This is what this is talking about the issue of waking up at night and so on. Like I said, I'll explain it properly in the beginning of next lesson, inshallah. Each, like I keep saying, this book is summarized all the points. Each point that we mentioned in the books of fiqh, you can have a whole lesson on it. Okay? So most of what I'm mentioning, as you can see, I don't really have that many notes. Most of what I'm mentioning is just what I remember. Inshallah, once you go through the books, I'll have, we'll mention the dalil for each one, the reference, and we'll go into proper detail. Beginning with the right side during ablution. So washing your right hand first and left and like that. Sunnah. Washing the ablution parts more than 3 times. Haram. Considered wasting water. Washing the calf. In wudu, you don't wash it. It's not. In ghusl, you have to wash everything. In ghusl, you wash everything. You prayed after swimming without prior ablution. No, sorry, you don't have the intention. It's not. Prayed after taking a shower and did not do ablution. If you have the intention of ghusl and wudu, and you do wudu in there, that's fine. As for not having the intention, and just having the intention of ghusl or hadith akbar, then there's khilaf. Some ulama say yeah, it's fine because if you've done the hadith akbar, that's going to include hadith asghar, the small one. And someone say no. That's now. So if you washed your body parts, that water is dripping off is used water. Okay, that used water, the ruling of that, we'll take it in the bigger books of fiqh. There's 2 types of pure water. There's tahur and tahir. Tahur is that pure water which you can use to purify other things that you can use to do wudu and stuff. Tahir is water which is pure but you can't use. Okay, so for example, tea. Let's say tea. Is that water pure? It's pure, it's not najis. Like if it goes on your clothes, you don't have to wash it. You should obviously be clean, but in terms of can you pray your salah? Like if you prayed and you got a bit of tea stain on your thobe, is it accepted? It's pure in that sense. But can you do wudu with it? No. So same thing here. So the water which drips off your body after you've used it, that is considered tahir. It's not considered tahur. So you can't do wudu with it generally. That's a man. Okay, alhamdulillah, with that we finished fiqh of wudu and also fiqh of salah. Make sure you guys revise properly on Tuesday. I'm going to test you on the whole fiqh of wudu and fiqh of salah. And on Tuesday, after that, we'll start fiqh of zakah, inshallah. Okay, make sure you guys revise properly. And make sure you test each other. Right? What are the 10 conditions of wudu? Make sure you can list all of them. Okay? Especially if it's something which is written in the book, you should know. Okay? And then some of the extra points that I mentioned as well, there's only a few. So we'll continue, inshallah, on Tuesday. Subhanakallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي